are some who ride where few others dare to walk. For racers with the gusto to compete in the blurs between seconds, their backyard is no less important than their staging area. Fit to get their fix, the open class gets set to leave center track behind the starting line. You know, we've really enjoyed our stay here in the Shenango River Valley, a beautiful part of the Keystone State, the far western end here in Transfer, Pennsylvania, at the 143rd Annual Transfer Harvest Home Fair with the 2021 Championship Dirt Drags with the MRA, and today it's the open class, the blower motor cars, putting out anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 horsepower. Today they're going to be running the paddle tires. Yesterday it was the cut tires. Today, these awesome bigger diggers that will really help them get the horsepower to the ground. It should actually improve their times from what we saw in the cut tire class yesterday. We're getting ready to open things up. It's not a very long ride. It's a short ride, a blink of an eye, but a lot can happen in a very short time. And speaking of a short ride, this track, originally 180 feet, has been shortened to 150 to give them just a little bit more shutdown area. And believe me, these guys will use every bit of it. First up, yesterday's cut tire winner, Billy Fling out of Sunbury, Ohio, driving Reality Check. Chassis built by Brasket Race Cars, running a 581 cubic inch Hemi engine. See what he can do, opening up the paddle tire class. Car made a move to the left just off the starting line, gets it corrected, still lays down a sub 2-second run. Blistering pass for Billy Fling to open things up, and we knew he'd be fast. One of the toughest on tour. See him right there, have to correct, and believe it or not, with that correction, as quick as that was, that means he can go even faster if he can keep the car straight off the line. About quarter track, had to bring the car back to the right to get straight down the track, but again, beautiful pass in spite of it, opens things up with an outstanding time this afternoon. Now, Paul Palmer out of Summer Duck, Virginia, driving the machine owned by Mike and Peggy Donahue. This is the show. Hasn't quite had the weekend he was hoping for, but the machine looks like it's tight and tuned here today as he waits to see if he can better the time laid down by Billy Fling. We'll see what Paul Palmer has here in the open class. Looked to be a nice straight run, stepping out there in the shutdown area to 1.93 and change, so a good run. Not going to get to the top spot, but take nothing away from him. Car looks to be running a lot better today than it was yesterday, and Palmer definitely going to be a threat in the class. We'll wait and see where some of the other competitors end up. Remember, they're going to be running a whole nother session where they'll swap lanes and run again. He kept the front end down this time as he's had a problem with the car wanting to wheelie. Didn't happen for him that time. Up next, the second-generation driver, Tyler Coolidge out of Two Harbors, Minnesota in Nightmare 6. Going to go side by side with a guy we've seen before, Greg Monsmith out of Warsaw, Indiana, in Lesson Learned. He won the Blown Alcohol Madness event, both cut and paddle tire classes down in Sanford, North Carolina. Not only that, he also set the new track record down there in the cut tire class, so we'll see how quick he could be here in Transfer with the Mud Racers Association 2021 Dirt Drag Championship as he lines up next to Tyler Coolidge. Father Joel drove Nightmare yesterday and actually ended up in the trees. Hopefully that doesn't happen here today. They wait on green. Beautiful pair of runs. Monsmith with the 183 will take the better of those two runs. Coolidge not looking too bad with that 1.857. They're right there together. It'll set them up in second and third place. Monsmith headed back to the pits. Get the car ready for session number 2. He'll come over here to the right-hand side. Coolidge, I believe, when he moves over to the left lane, will be able to get a little more out of the car. This right lane has a little bit of a downhill camber to the right-hand side. So you have to work a little bit harder to keep the car in a straight line. Plus, the shutdown area, as you can see clearly, gets a lot more sketchy in the right-hand lane than it does in the left. There's still trees on the left-hand side of the track, but there's a little path you can duck into if you can't get stopped. You see the hole there next to that oak tree. That's where Joel Coolidge went through the woods there last night in the Cut Tire class. Up next, Dale Ellenberger in Touch of Madness out of Leon, West Virginia by way of Butler, Pennsylvania. Dale with a screw-blown 506 cubic inch Hemi with an A980 Whipple supercharger on top. He goes side by side with Kevin Harrison, and Never Enough. Chassis built by Eric Bidlack with the Aussie horsepower. Another screw-blown 527 cubic inch Noonan racing engine. We will see what Harrison can do here on the right-hand side. You talk about a fearless racer. And a guy who's perfectly suited if he does go into the tree line. He's a logger for a living, so we'll see what he can do. Wow, a 177 and change for Kevin Harrison. Ellenberger not doing too bad, but Harrison will definitely jump up into the number 2 spot. Ellenberger having to dodge the trees there at the end of the track. It got a little bit wild. Watch him again, both of them using up every inch of shutdown space, and it gets slick out here on the grass as we watch him again. Look at Harrison working to keep that car in a straight line. Comes right past our end zone camera. One more look at the run. It was a good pair of runs, super straight. But that shutdown area could definitely cost you money if you get out of shape. Look at it. Watch Harrison get on the brakes, trying to lock it up before he goes for a walk in the woods. Kevin Harrison moving up into the number 2 spot. The open paddles, and look at our leaderboard right now. Billy Fling almost got knocked off the top spot. He and Kevin Harrison hanging out in that 1-7 range. Then it's 3-1-8, Ellenberger, Monsmith, and Tyler Coolidge all kind of hanging in there together, but they're moving up on Billy Fling and Kevin Harrison. We'll see what happens as the class goes into session number 2 and the sun goes down. And then Paul Palmer, he's going to try to get out of that number 6 spot before the end of the day. Hey, we're not done yet. As I said, session 2 is coming up. Plus, we'll take a look at the Renegade class a little bit later. Stay with us. More coming at you from Transfer, Pennsylvania.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Bidlack Racing Chassis, builder of championship quality racing equipment, and by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date show, ticket info, and a wide selection of photo and video galleries, visit monstersmonthly.com.
The great Tar Heel tradition continues. Daryl Jones Memorial Scooby-Doo Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness return to the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex, April 22nd and 23rd, featuring an all-out assault and one of the most tradition-rich hill and hole pits in the country, along with the quickest, fastest open class and modified machines on the fast track. 2 days of down and dirty action. Don't miss your chance to see the return of the Fastest of the Fast and Blown Alcohol Madness, April 22nd and 23rd.
Oh,
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Crush This. For an inside look at the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. And by RPM Army, featuring action-packed content from around the web. Visit rpmarmy.com, your source for motorsports on the go.
Welcome back to the Transfer Harvest Home Fair here in Transfer, Pennsylvania, as we continue action with the MRA Championship Dirt Drags, the open class, coming back to the line for session number 2. The same two cars that closed session number 1 will open up this second session. They've now swapped lanes. There you see Dale Ellenberger out of West Virginia in Touch of Madness. 506 cubic inch Hemi horsepower. And ready to go side by side with that machine, that Bidlack Racing Chassis machine. Never enough. Kevin Harrison with a 527 cubic inch Noonan racing engine behind the driver. That machine built and tuned by Eric Bidlack. Name that a lot of the mud racing and dirt drag fraternity is well aware of. Kevin could definitely get to the number 1 spot. Billy Fling sitting up on top right now. We'll see if Harrison can get down there or if Dale Ellenberger can do it. Looks like we're having a little problem with the staging lights right now. You can see the crew running over, trying to make sure everything is set and ready to go so there's no malfunctions with the starting lights as we get ready to send them. Ellenberger and Harrison waiting on green. Super fast for both. Harrison not able to better his time. Look at Ellenberger fighting the car through the shutdown area. He betters Harrison on that run. But Kevin Harrison currently will remain in second place. Beautiful straight ride for both of those cars. But again, look at Ellenberger dodging the trees as he comes around our end zone camera. Carried the front end just a little bit, but the car stayed pretty straight through the timing lights. And then again, watch him in the shutdown area. His car starts to come to the right, and it gets a little rough down there. There's a ditch and a trench, tire tracks from last night. There he goes, ripping up that poor man's backyard. Dale Ellenberger laying down a shot. Not going to get to the number 1 spot, but a good run nonetheless. Here comes Greg Monsmith. Again, set a track record down at Sanford, North Carolina at the Blown Alcohol Madness event. Hopefully we'll see him back there in 2022 as we plan to bring you that action. Once again, going side by side with the second generation driver, Tyler Coolidge. 500 cubic inches of Alan Johnson horsepower up against 520 cubic inches of Brad Anderson Hemi. Monsmith and Coolidge now waiting on green. 176. Tyler Coolidge will take the top spot. Monsmith in trouble. Greg Monsmith goes off the right-hand side of the track, and it looks like he shed parts. Where did he end up? That's the question. Coolidge heading back into the pit area. You can see there is Monsmith's crew, and I believe his son there on the cart. And there you see the ditch that he hit. That right there, you see how deep that is. We've been talking about that all weekend long and what would happen if a car got into it. Well, you just saw. Watch Monsmith off the right-hand side of the track, and look at all the dirt come flying back in. I'm not sure what happened. Looks right there off the starting line. The car hooks to the right. It looked like he actually let out of it a little bit to try to straighten it out. Got back in the throttle, and it just took him where it wanted to go. The right front tire comes off, and Monsmith ends up in somebody's backyard. Greg Monsmith is okay. He's out of the vehicle, but you can see how far he traveled, and look at the front tire.
You get a good video of that? He came in.
It's good to see him up and smiling. That could have been a lot worse. The ground down here on the end zone of the track is super soft, if you can't tell. And man, if the front end had hooked and dug in, he could have gone end over end. Fortunately, the car seems to have stayed flat and just kind of given him a little bobsled ride down to the end. They're going to get it, take the wheelie bar off and pick that up with the tractor and take it back into the pits. Hopefully not too much more damage than the right front suspension, but holy cow, did he go for a ride. One more time in real time. And looking at it again, the right front actually came off when he left the track. It looks like that first hit broke the front suspension, and he was just along for the ride at that point. Again, very lucky that that car did not go end over end. Now, Paul Palmer, having just seen that, luckily is going to be making a run out of the left-hand lane. I'm sure he's happy not to be over there on the right-hand side. Let's see what he's got. Exactly what he was hoping wouldn't happen. Palmer picking up the front end in the show. Bettered his own time, but certainly not going to get to the top of the leaderboard. Again, did not want to pick that front end up like that. And carrying the front end, he wants to set it down, and hopefully he can get it set down before you get to the end zone. We don't tend to see this problem anymore of cars breaking the top end timing lights with the rear tires. They do tend to break them with the front tires on account of most of these vehicles running wheelie bars anymore, but definitely want to try to keep that front end just graze in the dirt, if not on the ground, and get that horsepower down and keep your steer tires pointing you forward. But we will see. Right now, Billy Fling trying to go better than Tyler Coolidge's 1.76 as Fling got knocked off in that wild pass between Coolidge and Greg Monsmith. So we'll see here. Fling on a single now in that tougher right-hand lane. Hopefully the results will not be the same as what happened with Monsmith. We will see. Reality check into the staging beams. Car made a move, a good run, but he's not going to do it, and he's in big trouble. Stuck throttle, he goes through the trees. You could hear him cut the power. He actually did physically cut that car off. You could hear it after he disappeared into the tree line. The question is, did he hit anything? We know he took down some saplings, but did he hit anything big? There is a massive oak tree in there somewhere that Joel Coolidge just narrowly avoided yesterday evening, and hopefully going through a totally different spot in the tree line. The problem there isn't that brush he initially went into on the back side of that. There you see him. Billy Fling is okay. He's out of the car. He's right there in the blue shirt with the head sock, and doesn't look like too much damage was done to the car. Maybe knocked the filter off the front of the intake, but other than that,
Billy always supposed to be center of the If you want it to be a log, all you do is ask.
they're all down there joking around. They'll get the car pulled out. Those guys are so happy to see Billy Fling up and walking around. A very scary moment. Watching a race car disappear into the trees at the end of the track. Billy Fling ending the class up in a flourish. He ends up in second place, so it's got to vindicate you a little bit. You're still in the upper half of the field after a ride like that, but stuck throttle, always scary in motorsports. Congratulations, though, to Tyler Coolidge, who in his second pass, as I said, out of the left-hand lane, I thought he would get more out of that car, and he did. As Billy Fling gets towed back to the paddock, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to show you our Renegade class. A record is on the line. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Listen up. It doesn't matter if you just watch your first show or you're a longtime fan of the sport and you want to know more about monster trucks. Well, tune into the Throttle Out Show on Monday and Thursday nights, live on our YouTube channel at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You'll get the inside scoop and all the behind-the-scenes footage and monster trucks and soon-to-be all other motorsports. Life is better when your foot is to the floor. So remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. Heard the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. oil. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out of.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Welcome back as we get ready to wrap up action here with the MRA 2021 Championship Dirt Drags from the 143rd Annual Transfer Harvest Home Fair. Some developments in our Renegade class. This is a class we hope to see a lot more of in 2022, but there you see Brendan Whitkin. He is getting ready to try to make a backup pass for a record-breaking run he just laid down. Now, this is from session number 1. He's lined up with David French. This pass did not go well for Whitkin. Locks up on the line. It almost didn't go well for French in the shutdown area, who was driving his heart out there. Up after them was Dylan Cato in this beautiful black Chevy Colorado out of the Show Me stage. Second generation hotshot laying down the new fast time at a 2.4853 before he would head in to session number 2. There, he would move to the left-hand lane and stage side-by-side with John Cervella and Mr. Hobbs. Cato running another solid time at a 2.34. Keep himself on top of the field. Now, Brendan Whitkin back on the line. Now in the left-hand lane, side-by-side once again with David French. Watch this. Little late out of the hole, but I don't think he's worried about that extra $100. Lays down a 2.29 and change. He just bettered the 150-foot national record in the Renegade class, which was a 2.341. So now he's in a position where, because he did not cross the finish line in his first pass, he did win the class. He now gets to come back and make a backup pass to try to seal the record. If he does not get within 0.05 of a second, the record will not be his. We will see if he can do it. Brandon Whitkin in foreplay out of Fowler, Michigan, now going to try to set the 3rd straight national record we've seen here this weekend in transfer. And he does it. Brendan Whitkin claims the 150-foot national record here in Transfer, Pennsylvania, in the 4-plate Jeep out of coal country. Our congratulations to him winning the class, taking home a national record. Our congratulations to Tyler Coolidge and Joel Coolidge as they picked up a victory as a team in the class. And tough break for a couple of guys out here in this class, including Greg Monsmith and Billy Fling. We're glad to see both of those guys are okay. That wraps it up from here in Transfer, Pennsylvania. We will see plenty more of the MRA Championship Dirt Drags in 2022. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.